Welcome to episode 151 of the Startup Show. Today I'm here at the offices of EquityPitcher and I'm talking to the co-founders and co-CEOs, Sascha and Herman, and we talk about EquityPitcher, what it means to have a venture capital fund, how they see venture capital develop over the next few years, and how you should deal with fear and start your own business. Make sure to stay tuned for the whole video. Welcome everybody to episode 151 of the Startup Show. Today I'm here at the offices of EquityPitcher, a venture capital fund, and I'm talking to the co-founders and co-CEOs, Sascha and Herman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to have you both here on the show today. Usually we have a lot of startups on the show. Sometimes we take a little bit of a ride with investors, and I'm very excited to have you both here today. As usual on the Startup Show, I would like to give you each about half a minute to introduce yourselves. Herman, take it away.
Sorry, because you asked me to do it. 36 years old, born in Russia, grew up in Germany.
Yes.
I went into business very early when I was 20 because I needed money. I wanted to do something. And honestly to say, it was a lucky punch because I built an e-commerce company, and it was in the beginning of 2000 and everybody started to buy the web. So it was the first time I could earn a little bit of money. Then I went from project to project, gave my advice, gave something like a business angel. And in 2010, came to Switzerland. A friend of mine who's a grandson of a wealthy family from Germany. They have a family office here, and he asked me to join his venture capital division.
Yes.
He wanted to build a venture capital division, actually. And this I came here in Switzerland and did it for 2 years. Later on with Sascha in an investment company, and in 2016 we founded EquityPitcher here.
Yes.
We know each other since 20 years.
Wow. Yeah. Sascha, what about you?
Yeah, my name is Sascha. I'm 35 years, married, waiting for my third kid now in 2 weeks. I was born in Ravensburg. It's in the south of Germany, not far from here. Did my education on the bank. And did this, and through Herman I came in this whole startup venture capital scene in 2006. There I came the first time to Switzerland, did some project with fundraising, business development, so that was my entrance in the venture capital world. In 2008 I founded my first small investment boutique company. I moved to Spain because of my wife, because she got pregnant, so I lived a couple of years there and made several projects in early stage in whole Europe through this time. And came back in 2012 because of a rich Arabian gentleman who wanted to open a big finance house and asked me to do the private equity venture capital part. And since there we are working together again because Herman said he would love to do this together, that we can do this together. And that's more or less already the start of EquityPitcher, because we did this 3 years and then we started with EquityPitcher.
Before we get more into EquityPitcher, maybe you can elaborate on, when you look at your business on a day-to-day basis and working with startups, what is it that inspires you to be on the investment side of the whole startup ecosystem?
Perhaps from my side, it was like when I started really with the startup scene, fundraising was so hard to get money for startups. Yes. In 2006 back then. It was always my wish to be on this side, that startups can call me and say, listen, I have a great project and I need money for it. So this was my dream since 2006, and then year by year I came closer. So since a couple of years we can sit on this side of the table. And that inspired me because we have the coolest job in the world, I think. We see all the cool ideas, great ideas. We always have to do with motivated people, what's really great. I love this. And now we have the possibility to really help them growing with our network and with money. And that inspires me personally day by day.
Let's start talking about EquityPitcher. Maybe you can give us a short pitch about exactly what your fund is doing.
So EquityPitcher is actually, I would say, a post-seed venture capital firm, which is investing in mainly tech startups, but we are not focused on industries. And we help them out with 3 points. It is context, capital, and know-how. So this is basically what we think every startup needs to develop, and then we want to be a part of it.
And then when you look at, let's say, all of the investments you have done, what are some that are already public and you work closely with right now?
The most public investment I think we do right now with EquityPitcher is Geld für Flug,
I would say that, yes.
We are invested there together with Carsten Maschmeyer, and he really brought this to media. We had a couple of exits, but these were, let's say, smaller exits, so it wasn't like this public or in this media. Geld für Flug is
I would say that. Yeah, they are really profitable from day one. It's really like crazy. It's not unusual for a startup. However, of course, because they have this traction in the media and they are a B2C case. And when they are in Galileo and ProSieben, of course, people join it and try the product, and then it goes really like hell.
Now, when you look at, let's say, you said like you're agnostic to industries, and what are, let's say, post-seed, like how much, what's the check sizes, equity sizes that you usually give and take when you work with startups?
Let's say the investment round in general is between 1 and 2.5 million, what the startup is looking for. And we, with our network, we usually bring up till 1 million. So I would say that's the basic case.
Yeah, so the average ticket we did in the first portfolio was about 400, 450, we could say. But with the second portfolio, we would like to grow there also.
And what about like in terms of the equity? Like the range of like equity?
It is every time lower than 10%. Because in the phase where we go in, we think the entrepreneur should stay the entrepreneur at the end of the day. Because later on, the following rounds, he has to give away more shares. And then we will say, okay, he needs to have the control, he needs to feel like an entrepreneur, and that's why we say that's fine for us. We are a minority stakeholder. And that's fine for us.
And perhaps we have to add one thing. So with EquityPitcher, we have like a structure of financing. We initiated an own fund in Liechtenstein with Kayak Fund Management. This is always like the anchor investor. And he's bringing this, like Herman said, this average money of 400 to 500,000 Swiss francs. But we only invest if there are other investors along with us. So this can be other VCs, can be smart capital investors. So for this, I would say what's coming out of our ecosystem, EquityPitcher is around 1 million each finance round. But with the fund, we are with 400 to 500,000.
I mean, like, we made some research and trying to understand like what entrepreneurs want to know from venture capitalists. And one of the big questions is always like, when do you say like, yes, we are interested to hear more? When do you say like, no, we'd rather pass?
Difficult question. I think, first of all, we have our process. And then we have criteria and then our analysts that they go through it and say, okay, this could be something. They pitch it to us, the pitch deck they receive. And then I think the most important part is when we meet the people or when we talk to the people. At the end of the day, it's people business. And if we feel this could be a winner, could be something really entrepreneurial characteristic we are looking on, then it's very interesting for us. Yeah. It's not only the data and the analyze and so. Okay, we have to do that. Don't misunderstand me, because we will also be dealing with investors and they want that we really have a structured process. We have this, but at the end of the day, it's about the people, and we look on the people, and we feel that they are good entrepreneurs. This is something interesting for them.
And for us, it's so important that we have somebody in our network who joins us in let's say, who will be the future board member of the startup, who can really open doors for the startup. So we really include, let's say, this advisor from day one, ask him what you think about the startup, and he's already doing the due diligence with us. It's really a main part that we have somebody external who really give the knowledge to us and bring this into the startup.
I want to deep dive a little bit more into what you mentioned about the criteria. I think that is something very important for startups like to know before maybe to approach you. What are, let's say, these criteria that you look for in the initial screening?
The product should be done. There should be something, a proof of concept. They don't have to have revenues, but they need to have a product which could be sell. And for us, it's very, very important, someone in the network, and we involve them, and this are mainly people from the industry. And then we ask them, is this glass, for example, is this something you can sell? And we give it to the CEO of, Globus, for example. He takes a look on it and say, okay, this could be something. And then it became interesting for us. Then we have like a guy who can help us in the market, because we don't have the know-how in every industry. It's not possible for us. We can understand the business case, we can feel the people, but we can't know if this is the right time for this glass, because it's so great glass. And this is what we have to look at. If this is saleable, if you can sell it, but because of the end of the day you have to sell your product, then it becomes more interesting for us. And so we try to research this.
So does that mean you're more like to invest in B2B or B2C?
More B2B.
More B2B.
B2B.
Yeah.
You mentioned all the time your advisors and the board members that you have. How do you choose them? Because I saw online you have like a couple of advisors that joined you. How do you pick them?
It's maybe from the history, because Sascha mentioned before, when we started to do fundraising for startups, institutional investors were not interested. No banks, no asset manager, nothing, no pension funds. We're really like entrepreneurs or CEOs from big corporates who say, okay, I understand the product because I'm in the market. And these guys came from there, and so we stayed with them in contact and then we involved them.
We could say we are blessed now because we really have people like CEOs of big companies or corporates. They talk to us and say, hey, I would love to work with you, with the startup. I reached so much in my life and it's time to give something back. We too are really blessed, and our network is really growing by its own, more or less. All the time meet new people, get introduced to very interesting people, and very often there's a good fit, a good synergy between them, because if we have like a CEO of a hospital or whatever, and then this is great for us in healthcare to combine them. And for them it's great to really be part of the startup, see something new, and yeah, I think it's really a win-win situation.
Yes. I mean, you know, as you said before, I really believe investors have a dream job. Like it is definitely something I'm also like dreaming of. Nevertheless, it's not always shiny. It's a lot of times a lot of hard work. How do you handle, let's say, you know, specifically bad news coming from startups?
To be honest, we want the bad news from the startups. It's not that we are like shocked or something, yes, because it's usually that you always hear the good news and everything is fine until the day they come to you and say, hey, listen, I have not one more Swiss franc left and I need money now. So that's not the way we want to go. It's like we really want to know what don't work and where can we help you out, or is there something we can do that, let's say, this problem or this bad situation can be a solution then for it. Right.
Yeah, the baddest thing is if they come and it's really too late. So it's better to come early enough. Then you can help something. Because they say, okay, I have only money for this month left, but it's too late. That's why we have a reporting. We talk to them every month, and we want these problems, and we want to have the responsibility for this.
And it's not only the money, it's really like also the sales. So often sales is the problem from the startup. They have this great idea, this great product, this great service, and it's so hard to bring it into the market. I don't know how many pivots we saw already in this area. But again, I wouldn't say that we are, let's say, scared or shocked at the moment. And because at the end, we are also, I think, so experienced in the meantime, we expect not every startup we are in can be successful. Yes. So it's part of the business, like you said. And I think for me, the hardest thing is to really see young entrepreneurs. They pull the idea and their vision and their startup so hard, but you see it don't work. So you have to tell them, hey, let it be now.
Yeah. You have to change it or you have to leave it.
Yeah.
But this is really, this is a sad thing to see.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when you look back at your journey of like EquityPitcher, I'm sure like now you're setting up your second fund, if I remember correctly. Like you probably have a lot of learnings that you brought in from the first time. What were some of these key learnings that you would say you look back, I wish I knew about this, let's say 24 months earlier?
For me personally, it is sometimes to keep out the emotions and to be patient. Because everything needs time to develop. So you have to step back sometime and look on above and to think, okay, we have to keep quiet and wait till the solution comes up. And if sometimes it's the pressure, but also what I found out personally is if you're under pressure, something great can come out of it. Mm-hmm. Because diamonds, gold, it came out from pressure.
Yes.
At the end of the day. So you can run away from the pain, but if you stay in the storm, then you can be blessed. That's good.
I want to dig deeper in this like practicality of this, like stepping back. What do you do, like practically speaking, when you realize, okay, like you have to do something? How do you put yourself back?
That staying in this fund theme, it was really new for us. Yes. So we had to learn a lot with this first fund. So it starts with the structure. How do you structure? Whom do you partner? These are really experiences you have to learn. It's not easy to get the first step directly the right way. So we had to do also a lot of structure.
And never make a decision right away. That's very practical, I would say. Yeah. Go back home and think about it. Come back and talk to each other. You have to talk about it and then find the solution. And sometimes if you don't do straight away something, some problems they're solved by themselves.
Yes.
that is just disappear. And if you start to do something, then you make it sometimes worse than it is. So this is what I would say, that I learned from myself.
And in general, I would say, because we always say to our startups or through our own companies, most of them, it's not always, but most of them need the double of time you expected, and it costed the double of what you expected, and the income is the half of the first year. I think in general we are more or less good with this philosophy to expect that it takes longer, it costs more, and the first incomes are lower than expected or planned before.
So one of the most important things as an investor is obviously like your network, and I'm always curious to hear about like how you activate it, like, you know, in practical terms. I've wrote my whole master thesis at the university about this, so it's really something like I'm super curious about how you do this. Number one is like how do you activate your network to really find the best deals?
Over the years, we really learned that the network needs, like a plant, you always need to give a little bit love into it. And what we are doing, we try to meet everybody out of our network really in regular basis, and we do events where all our network is coming together, and we are really trying that the network benefits from each other. So it's not only that we want something from them, we really want to see where can we open a door for them, and yeah, very often it's not directly like a business or something, it's just to make the right contact to another person, and they're really happy with it.
We organize events every year, 2 of them. The next will be on the 4th of April, just right here around the corner. And then we're working on an app to bring the network into this app, and then we can help really on the needs of the startups, and we can like publish the needs of the startup to our network directly in a closed community, and they can really do the intros to potential clients, to investors, and or maybe to staff if the startup need it. So this is something we will activate. We are working on it. We will show it, I think, in April.
And you already mentioned it, there's coming a lot of deals also from our network. And that it was really like we preached it over years. Yes. So we said, hey, if you have a good deal, an interesting case on your table, please think in us. Yeah. So, yeah.
And would you say like the better deals that you have made come from your network or startups you reach out to?
I would say it's coming through the network, because it's another investors and or people who are out of the industry, and they really have to look inside already and say, hey, listen, that could be interesting, and I would like that you join us. But we also found startups, let's say, which we screened actively. So one of our chief analysts, Jason, he really screening the startups here and sees this could fit perfect to us, and then we called them and said, hey, listen, we would be interested in have a talk to you.
Yeah, because to be the first one is every time. We think this is interesting. Not if the startups were already on every stage and everybody saw them. It's okay, it's fine, but better you have them before they are so public, really hyped, and then you pay lower values.
Before it's cool to know that.
It was cool. Yeah, just like this. So we really scout also.
Yes.
And call them and invite them or do Skype calls.
I mean, one of the things that I'm curious to know what your take is on it. I mean, venture capital for various reasons is in a transformation. I would say like venture capital when it came up in the 90s or like became popular in the 90s, it came up much earlier, but like became popular in the 90s. And like we have it now and how it will be in the next few years will be probably very different. There can be various reasons, introducing of new technology also. But like, how do you see, let's say, really venture capital developing over the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years?
So we always say we are fascinated what happened the last 3 to 4 years in Switzerland. That's crazy. So if you saw the time again, we said we started 2006 in this area, and there was like the desert, you know, there was nothing, no investors, nothing. And it came, so let's perhaps started 2012 a little bit. Like the Swiss Venture Capital Report, he had this cool statistic where it says in Zurich, in 2012, back then they were invested 5 million, and in 2018, 500 million. So that's incredible. Yeah. And I think the next, to your question, 3 to 5 years with the development, with the Swiss Entrepreneur Fund and all that is coming, it's really boosting here in Switzerland.
So can you maybe point out what you think is going to be boosting?
I think first of all is the money. So there's so much money available right now, and on the one hand it's very good, on the other hand it's really brings danger to the valuation and things like this.
I also think it will the VCs will change also a little bit. It will become more digital. It will become more digital. It will become more technology backed, like it is already for some place. We also have a tool we work with who's reading our pitch decks and gives us a percentage, how much percentage is suitable for us already, so that we can save time. And then I think this will become more this AI stuff, and then also virtual reality will be something will help VCs because to can talk to founders all around the world and feel that they are sitting on the table. I think it will come. And some stuff like this will be more, I would say, futuristic technology based.
And it's a hype. Startup is a hype right now. The whole venture capital scene here in Switzerland started in Germany. So it wasn't before 5 years like this. And I think it will continuously really growing in this way, that startups have a great platform to present themselves, have great help from beginning on. It already starts creating the business plan, the ideas, with all the possibilities you have right now. And like Herman said, with all the digitalization around it, it really will be very interesting.
And as soon all the investors, the institutionals like pension funds, will accept venture capital as a real grown-up asset class. It was 5 years ago. It wasn't like this. They did it like they saw it like gambling money. It was not professional. Don't took it seriously. But now it's really an asset class. You can earn money with venture capital as an investor, even if you're an asset manager, family office, pension fund, people like this. Not only private investors who are entrepreneurs and can say, okay, I can give my own money, but really for investing, to have an allocation in their portfolios. And I think this is important development for Europe.
Absolutely. You both are not born and raised here in Switzerland, and you nevertheless decided to open up your venture fund here. Very curious to know what made you decide to come to Zurich.
Easy to say, because after the investment company, we decided to found EquityPitcher, we were talking about to go to Germany, back to Germany. It's cheaper and everything. The ecosystem is good, building stuff like this. But here you have the great market. In the phase where we are in the market entry, we have all companies all around the world. They have a place here. The network is very closed. The people are open to test products. So it is really the best market. The field is very good for startups we invest in, and that's why we decided to stay here. Today I can sit with the CEO of Syngenta, and tomorrow I can sit with the CEO of Johnson & Johnson. It is possible in Switzerland, and it's kind of difficult already in Germany.
More established.
And to be honest, we also wanted to take part in this growing ecosystem. You know, we want to be a small part in this puzzle to say, hey, we really, developed it together with all these great people here. And my kids go to school here. I'm very happy here. For me, Switzerland is a great place to be, so that makes things easier to...
I mean, like, one of the things that like you always hear, and like you briefly mentioned also before, is about the willingness of investors. I mean, you mentioned pension funds, but like private investors, the perception of people around the world of Switzerland and specifically Zurich, everybody's rich. Nevertheless, compared to Israel, we invest very little money into venture capital. Why do you think is that the case?
I think it's because of the ecosystem. It was not grown. It is growing the last 2-3 years, really. Like every day is a new association, a new venture fund, a new business angel club. This is. I think it needs time. Israel does this for years already.
I think that's the point, because before, it's the home of the most banks here in the world, and till a couple of years you make an investment in real estate and bonds, and you made good interest of it, so nobody needs to take risk, but still earns money with this invested money. So and this is also changing now. This also helps the whole venture capital scene to grow so fast, because let's say the big institutions like pension funds and super rich people, they have problem to find something where they can bring their money and invest. Good. I think that really boosts the whole ecosystem also.
I mean, like, as you said, like, money, very important to grow a company. And nevertheless, on the other side, you need quality startups to invest. How do you perceive, let's say, the ecosystem?
We have great universities here, and they start to teach entrepreneurship. In the past, when we went to school, there was only BBL and nothing else. You can say now you have entrepreneurship, innovation management, and on and on, and this master, and we have EPFL, we have ATH, we have ISD. It's great. It's a great universities here. So the question is there first be the money and too much money and too less startups, then we will pay high valuations. It's what happened right now. So we are really like praying that there came more entrepreneurs to Switzerland from abroad and also from the universities. And people who has ideas they are thinking about the last years, people who are in employment situation, they can say now, okay, now this is the right time. It's the right time to start my own venture.
And you don't even have to like forgo of your salary overall. Maybe you have a reduced salary, but you don't have to like work for free.
Yeah, to take the risk and to go for it because you see that you are not alone. Nobody wants to be the first.
When you look at, let's say, EquityPitcher and you look at the Swiss ecosystem, what is the role that you want to play on a bigger scope when you look outside of just like EquityPitcher and you look at the ecosystem? Where do you see your role?
With EquityPitcher, we also see us abroad from Switzerland. We always will have our, let's say, base here in Switzerland, but we see abroad through Europe.
We want to be a part of the ecosystem. We want to help this growing. We want to be a reliable partner for startups and also for other investors. We don't feel that we have a competition or something. We feel that we are really like a part of it, and we want to be a part of it. And we wanted to make Zurich, especially, but also Switzerland, the whole country, to be a great place for startups to come, and for investors to invest their money in. So why not? It is enough place for everybody, and we see our role exactly in this: be a part of the development of this ecosystem. Wanna help them. Wanna earn money at the end, of course. Yeah, be honestly. But the one thing don't exclude the other thing.
Yes, but do you think like we can grow companies from Switzerland globally?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's missing to get this last piece?
I think they were missing some, let's say, investment stages before, like the business angel structure is very good here in the early stage investment, but NZZ called it the death of Valley, I guess, with the investments in the growing stage. But this is also changing now. And like Herman said before, we have here the perfect infrastructure. So every startup has the potential to grow from Switzerland globally.
And it is the mindset. The mindset needs to be changed. If you look on Israel, for example, when they start a startup, they think globally from the first day on, because they have to, surrounded by all these other countries, they can't work with them, and they need to go abroad. And the Swiss people or German people also, they first focus on the internal market, the domestic market. And I think to be really big, you need to go globally. And this is the mindset, and I think it's also in the process of change.
What are some tips for balancing work and life?
I can only speak for myself. Family is really the most balance I have.
Yes.
When I was younger, I had the 16, 18, 20 hours days. That's not a work-life balance, to be honest, but I think sometimes it's necessary to do this. But now I'm really looking to, I know when I come in the morning in the office and I go home then at whatever, 6, 7, 8, this depends, 9, 10, if there are events. But I really can, in German you say abschalten, I don't know.
Off.
Yeah, turn off.
Shut down.
Shut down and leave the work in the office. And that really helps me.
What would you say is the most important character in an investor?
Be confidential and have self-confidential and really to be sure everything you want to realize, you can realize.
What traits do you look for when you hire someone?
Loyalty is one really I'm looking for. And then, of course, he needs to be interested in the whole venture capital scene and startup scene. But everybody we are hiring, he really has this fire already. So it's more or less, because like you said it also, it's a cool job. So everybody who's coming. And so, yeah, we look for loyal people and really what we need that we see the potential that we work many years together. So that's important for us.
How do you make sure you have a positive company culture within EquityPitcher?
All starts with our relations. So if we come to the office in the morning and we are smiling, so it's very easy that our employees also are smiling. And till now it works. Since 20 years we know each other, so I think we have there a good base also.
And the last one for you, what was the story of finding your first anchor investor for EquityPitcher?
Hard work. hard work, a lot of meetings. It's like a blessing again for us. It's that over the years we really knew more and more investors, and they saw how we are working, and they liked the way of our working. So when we started EquityPitcher, it was already, let's say, I wouldn't say easy, but it was, we knew we found our anchor investors, or we had them already. So, but it needed 10 years before to, let's say, go in this stage. So, yeah.
Okay, very good. Herman, up to you. First one. How is it to be a founder of a venture capital fund?
It's a cool thing. It's great.
What's your biggest regret in life?
Maybe that I lost a little bit the language of Russian. So it's like you have something and you lose it. And it's not so good to lose. Every language is capital. So maybe this could be something.
What would you consider success in life?
Success in life is everything in one. I think it is money, it is health, it is family, it's like you could say it is prosperity. I would say it like this. And prosperity is not only money, and this is for me success. If you have prosperous people.
What would you consider your biggest fear?
Fear is something you shouldn't have, but you have it. The fear of the fear, I would say. If you have fear of fear, then you will be bounded. For my opinion, when I realize I have fear of something, then I try to do this to overcome it. And then I think sometime I will die and I hopefully feel this.
And the last question for you, how do you give back to the community?
Different ways. I'm engaged. I'm in a church. I give it back there. I'm a trainer of a basketball team, youngsters. I give back there. I also help in different communities out. And if people come to me and ask me, can you help me with my venture? We also do it. We help them. And we help them with time, with advice, with network, with everything. Go for your dreams. Especially if you're young, because you don't have to lose nothing. If you, the older you became, you will do it. So you go for your dreams and then just try it and just try it. And if you fell down, you stay up again. And if you fall down, stay up again. And sometimes you will stay. And that's what I would say. It's very practical and it's common. Everybody knows it. But knowing and doing are two things.
What about you? What's your piece of advice to my audience out there?
We just spoke about it. Don't fear nothing. So really, it's said so easy, but it's really one of the hardest things in life to go through the valley also without fearing what's after it. In my 35 years, like Herman said, we are still young, but this was the best advice, because there are a lot of things in this world that want to hold you back.
How do you personally deal with fear?
I'm also a believer. I believe in God, and to be honest, I'm confident He always helps me out, so I don't fear.
Very good.
You need something you believe in.
Yes.
Everybody believes in something, and you can choose in what you believe. And if this gives you the power, then you don't have fear anymore.
Which is the book around Sapiens, if you read this book.
Yes.
Very good, guys. Thank you so much for being on the show
Thank you
today.
very
I
much
really
for
appreciate
having
it.
us.
Thank you very much, everybody who stayed all the way till the end of this video. Make sure to stay a few more seconds and you'll see who is up next week. And I'll see you there. Have a great week.
Hi, my name is Susan. I'm co-CEO and founder of Karoo. Make sure to tune in next Monday to the Startup Show, where we talk about why we founded Karoo, what excites us about it, and how to build a great remote team. See you on Monday.